Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. We're getting some breaking piece of developments coming in. A Hong Kong pro-democracy protester was pulled into the Chinese consulate in Manchester and then beaten up. Now, this incident, we're understanding, took place on Sunday. Unidentified men came out of the consulate and forced a man inside the compound before he escaped with the help of police and other demonstrators. The consulate now says protesters displayed an insulting portrait of Chinese president. The Manchester police has also launched an internal investigation. Security analyst and geopolitical analyst Pathikrit Payne now joining us on the broadcast. Pathikrit, good to have you on the broadcast with us. Should one even be surprised?
Well, Ridhima, I'm not surprised by what China does in Hong Kong or in Beijing. But what's surprising is that China does the same thing with impunity in the heart of United Kingdom.
Correct.
And what one wonders as to what has happened to United Kingdom as a country, because a few days back we have seen what happened when a Pakistani mob made some extremely vulgar, provocative indications towards Hindus and the desecration that was made of Hindu symbols. Similarly, in this case also, it is known what China does, and in spite of that, when somebody is protesting in Manchester, he is protesting in the heart of United Kingdom.
Correct.
So he actually has the same rights as any other British citizen. On one hand, United Kingdom, there are these agencies of United Kingdom, the British agencies, who come up and say that they face systemic challenges from China, and at the same time they are literally scared to do any action against Chinese government or Chinese embassy. The contention of the Chinese embassy that he was doing something within the embassy is absolutely not acceptable, because he was dragged inside, and even if he's dragged inside, that territory might be in terms certain respect the Chinese territory in terms of the embassy. That is how it is basically defined, every embassy. But that doesn't mean that somebody kills somebody over there. So frankly speaking, I think the United Kingdom, the British government right now, given the instability they have, they're literally scared to take any action against anybody. They have been, penetrated. The deep state of United Kingdom has been penetrated by Pakistani elements. I think
Correct.
there's a strong possibility the Chinese have strong influence within the deep state of United Kingdom.
Because,
also,
look at
because
the
of which
pattern that is
President
emerging, Pathikrit. As you rightly pointed out, just a couple of weeks ago, we had reported about what played out in Leicester. And now this right to protest is the right of any given citizen. If you have an objection to it, there is also a law that falls. But do you want to really take it in your hands where this protester is really bundled up and then thrashed inside the embassy? Somehow, fortunately in this case, he manages to escape and save his life.
Interestingly, Ridhima, when most brutal, provocative and violent protests were being done by the Pakistanis against Indian citizens and Indian Hindu people of Indian origin, that time the British government, the British police did not do anything. On the contrary, when somebody individually was protesting against the Chinese and when he was being beaten up by the Chinese, that time also, surprisingly, the British government did not do anything. So frankly, the reality is, where does United Kingdom stand as a country on the issues of peaceful protest, not violent protest? An individual Hong Konger cannot do violent protest, and he was not doing any act of terror. He was not making any provocative gesture. It was his legitimate right to to actually protest, given what has happened in Hong Kong. Question is, on one hand, the British government says that they want to give citizenship to all the British overseas citizenship to the people of Hong Kong who were erstwhile part of the British overseas region. Today, what has happened is very unfortunate.
Correct.
And it shows the dubious double standards of the British government.
Absolutely. It not only shows the dubious standards of the UK government, but also the lack of capability of the police officials on the ground. Look at the visuals that we're putting out. This man is dragged from left to right. He's thrashed. And you have police almost as mute spectators. And now the Manchester police is saying, we'll have an investigation. The case has already happened.
Although, frankly speaking, there is perhaps no standard operating procedure. There is no intelligence input that something like this can happen. We have seen when Khalistani protests happen, when Pakistani protests happen, same time they have turned to mute spectators. It is as if they are operating within China or operating within Pakistan. Frankly speaking, even if the Chinese have done something, in that case, I think the police should have said that, okay, if this person is guilty, hand over that person to us. We will
Correct.
take care of
Yeah.
it as per the rules of British government. It seems here it is the Chinese rules which are being applied, not the British rules. That is most surprising thing. Even in any other country, whichever country you talk about, I don't think the Chinese can do something like this and get away. But I'm very sure in this case also, no case will be registered. Nothing will be done against the
Yeah.
Chinese, because the British economy today depends so much on the Chinese, imports of British goods, and vice versa as well. Because
Okay.
once they have been out of the European Union, they are literally on the tender hook. There is a recession coming, so it's their political infrastructure today is, frankly speaking, crumbling.
Okay.
They have lost, unfortunately, their backbone and the spine,
Okay.
and that's why the reality is reflected here in this way.
Very unfortunate reality that's playing out for all of us. Unfortunately.